Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donahue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donahue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Well, hello, my friend. We are the show that talks about creeps from the past to the present. We got an old-time movie star as our creep today. He hasn't been seen in public for a long time. Did you know they just put a picture out of him?
Yes, I saw that he recently made an appearance after hiding away for the last couple of years.
Today's subject is going to be Jack Nicholson, but don't you fret. He's not a murderer or anything like that. So
No.
But just so you know, we end every single show with someone who is not a creep, so you will feel good about the world. You could find us on social media. We do have a Facebook page. Now, the basic Facebook page is where people usually go to complain about our language. We use salty language in this program.
Fuck yeah.
We have a private Facebook group. You do have to answer the questions for joining the group. That's the whole point of putting the questions there, in case you were wondering.
I didn't know I was going to take a quiz.
It's not a tough quiz. Really, just please just don't be an asshole. That's all we ask.
Yes.
Just type in What a Creep podcast group on Facebook and ask to join. That's where we're the most interactive. You can also find us on Twitter, while Twitter still exists, at CreepPod, because somebody had What a Creep for over 10 years on Twitter and never used it.
Creep.
We are also on Instagram. Great place to complain about the fact that we said that Rex Harrison was a creep. I got somebody to complain about that, but that's fine. You know.
Wait till you hear about Errol Flynn.
We also have an old-timey email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. Give us your suggestions for creeps and also non-creeps. And if you would like some stickers, give us your address. We'll drop them in the mail for you wherever you are on the planet of Earth.
Yes, we'll do it.
Sonia, tell them about the website.
You can go to whatacreeppodcast.com, and it's everything you ever wanted to know about our podcast, but we're afraid to ask. It has links to all of our past episodes, and in those little blog posts are our show notes where we list all of our sources, because we source every single thing we do. We're not making this shit up, and we want to give credit where credit is due. So if you're looking to dig a little deeper on our creeps, that's a great place to start. There's also a link to our merch shop where you can get t-shirts and tote bags and other things with our faces on them. You should do that. And there's a link to our Patreon page. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
I certainly do. Patreon. We have our first 5 seasons up there. We put out 2 bonus episodes a month, and then we put out a newsletter every month. And we want to thank you all for supporting us there. It really just helps us with the news sources and the software and all that crap that puts the show together. So thank you all for being a part of that. We just dropped an episode last week, a bonus ep that a lot of people said was pretty damn funny. We just riff on the news. Yes.
Yes, we were feeling a little feisty.
We were feeling feisty. Now, if you are feisty too, but you don't have the cash right now to contribute to a Patreon thing, or let's just be clear, you just subscribe to too many goddamn things, you don't want to sign up for one more, I get it.
Yeah.
If you could just
Valid.
leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts, that would be amazing. And we got a really great 1-star review, which we'll post on Instagram. Some shithead gets... Everyone's political, y'all. Just so you know.
Y'all. You know what? I love 1-star reviews. Yum, 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 yum. I eat them up.
But we do love you all that take the time to leave 5-star reviews. It's not easy.
Yes.
You know, Apple doesn't make anything easy. So I want to thank Book Mama. Who's the other one? Just says via, I'm sorry. It just says via Apple Podcasts. It's the second one on my page.
KK Dupes.
KK Dupes, thank you so much. And also Anita Swale from Great Britain. Thank you all so much for leaving us
you.
5-star reviews. Thank you so much. Like I said, wherever you get your podcast, just be sure to subscribe. That way you'll never miss an episode. So now that we've been through all the rigmarole,
Yes.
do I say, here's Johnny? I'm going to get cheesy with my references, just so you know.
Oh, yes. There'll be plenty of those. We're going to be talking about Jack Nicholson. So let me list the sources before I forget. AP News, Britannica, Fascinate, The Guardian, Looper, Nikki Swift, People Magazine, love me some People Magazine, The Washington Post, and Wikipedia. Margot, what is your favorite Jack Nicholson movie?
The Shining.
Yeah.
Also one of my favorite
Same.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Shining is so good.
But I would say Terms of Endearment's close second. He's really good in that movie.
Here's the thing. He's really good in most movies.
Yeah,
that's the
true.
thing.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah. So I'm sure everyone listening to this podcast knows who Jack Nicholson is.
Who dis?
Easy Rider. Yeah, who this? Easy Rider, Chinatown, The Shining, Prizzi's Honor, Batman, A Few Good Men, The Departed.
I like all those
Masterpieces.
movies. Yes.
All of them. All of them. And yes, I put Batman on that list as a masterpiece because I love it. Okay. He's been nominated for an Oscar 12 times. 12 times.
Yeah, I could see
He's
it.
He's won 3 Academy Awards, one for Best Actor for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, another for As Good as It Gets, a movie that I don't really like. And then Best Supporting Actor for Terms of Endearment. He's won BAFTA Awards, Golden Globes, Grammys, Screen Actors Guilds. He's received the American Film Institute Lifetime Achievement Award and a Kennedy Center honor. He is considered one of the best actors of all time.
One of the greats.
Yes, but do we want the truth? We can't handle the truth.
Can't handle the truth.
Because the truth is Jack Nicholson is an amazing actor who has made a lot of really great movies, but he's also a womanizing creep with a nasty temper. So let's talk about it. We're going to start at the beginning like we always do. John Joseph Nicholson was born April 22nd, 1937 in Neptune, New Jersey.
Yeah.
He had a very interesting childhood because he grew up thinking his mom was his sister and his grandparents were his parents. She's my sister and my daughter.
I've only seen Chinatown once.
Oh my God. Masterpiece movie. Look, Roman Polanski fucked that guy, and we did a whole episode.
We had a whole episode about him.
Chinatown is
Legit
very,
great.
very, 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 very good. Jack's mother, June, was a 17-year-old showgirl when she got pregnant. And there is speculation over who the father is. It could be one of her fellow showmen, this guy, Donald Furcello. His stage name was Donald Rose.
Speak up, Donald. Reveal yourself.
Reveal yourself. Or it could have been her manager, Eddie King. Could have been either of these two dudes. Apparently, they've offered to take They had offered to take paternity tests at some point, but
because he's worth millions now.
yeah, and years later, Jack was like, "No thanks,
No thanks."
So, anyway, Nicholson's grandparents posed as his real parents, and his mother and his aunt pretended to be his sisters. He actually didn't discover the truth until 1973 when Time magazine researchers figured it out.
Oh, that's awful.
Isn't that bananas?
That sucks.
Bananas. So, and by the time he figured it out, by the time he learned this, it was too late. His mother had passed away 10 years earlier.
Oh, that's awful.
Yes. Other than that, he had
Yes.
a pretty normal childhood. In high school, he was voted class clown. He was, very devious. He was in detention literally every single day for the entire school year. He didn't have these ambitions to be an actor. In fact, he had no ambitions at all. He just kind of went wherever life took him for a really long time. Like one summer, he worked as a lifeguard. Another summer, he took whatever money he had and would just take it to the racetrack. Like, that's how he lived.
Got it.
And then in 1954, he moved to California where his quote unquote sister lived, June, and he got a job as a gopher at the MGM studio animation department. If you don't know what a gopher is, it's just an assistant.
Right. You go for the coffee, you go for the printer,
Yes.
you go for the, yeah.
Exactly. The animators offered to like train him, like teach him to be an animator. And he was like, nah, maybe I'll try acting. And he just got lucky. Like, he got lucky. He caught the eye of an MGM producer while he was on the lot. They thought he was handsome. He helped him get a spot in an acting class. That acting class helped him get an apprenticeship with a local theater group. And then that led to small roles in television. Then he's doing small roles on TV, and that's where he meets Roger Corman. And Roger Corman makes all these like B movies.
He employed a lot of people.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so many people got like their acting breaks from Roger Corman.
Directing, writing. Yeah.
Ron Howard learned a lot about directing, like working on low budget
Yeah.
Roger Corman movies. Yes. And those movies, by the way, a lot of them are super fun.
Yeah.
Roger Corman made a ton of, and I'm wearing my like starring Vincent Price shirt today. He made a bunch of Vincent Price movies that are super fun. Anyway, he got the lead role in a movie called The Crybaby Killer, and he just kept doing more like B films like that. And then he actually did a little screenwriting, and he actually wrote the Monkees movie Head. I'm
a Monkees fan, so I know this movie very well.
The movie did not do well, but it does have a cult following. And while all this is going on, he's not quite the full-blown movie star yet. He got a house, and it was on like Mulholland Drive, and he lived, it's the same street where like Marlon Brando lived and Warren Beatty.
Okay.
And it was called Bad Boy, and it was Bad Boy Drive.
I was just gonna say the pussy cul-de-sac or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was just like a fucking pussy parade up and down that street.
I'm sorry, but that's all kinds of handsome on one block.
Yes.
I'd have a hard time saying no.
Yes. They're all of them. And by the way, Harry Dean Stanton is in here somewhere too.
was
Like
handsome
he
too?
also,
Yeah.
And he was like, he's close with all those dudes, and like all of them, drug fueled, just parties, just drugs,
It's the
drinking,
60s.
all this stuff. Yeah. You know, apparently Jack loved to do coke. Jack, you're going to love this. Jack loved to put a little bit of coke on his dick. And because he learned it from, he heard the Errol Flynn like to do it. And I was like, did he hear what happened to Errol Flynn's dick? Because maybe.
I think our Errol Flynn episode is still like open because that's one of
Y'all,
our best. Don't be eating nothing
take
when you're
dick
eating
advice from Errol. Dick advice from Errol Flynn.
The postmortem on
Just
that guy
saying.
is pretty gruesome.
So he had drugs all over the place. He had, and by the way, this part doesn't make him a creep. I'm just setting the scene for you. He had like an upstairs, downstairs system for drugs where he kept like the cheap stuff on the first floor and all the good shit was upstairs for
That's
his
just smart.
ladies and his close friends. And then like 1969 comes and he gets a role in Easy Rider, and it's just like, bam, movie star. Like, don't underestimate that movie. It kicked off a whole thing. Like all those like gritty movies of the 70s that we all love, the shit all started because Easy Rider disrupted the studio system. So
I worked
I'm
on
not
Peter
gonna run.
Fonda's book. I worked with Peter Fonda, yeah. And
How did you get to meet him in person?
yeah, a couple times. He was really great. This is like his third wife he was with, but he was with her a long time. He was very sweet, and we did interviews. And every time we did an interview, he would just look to me. He would say, "Steppenwolf," and then all his ear, get your motor run every fucking time.
Yes, this is not surprising. I don't want to go through like his whole filmography because
You could
we
read
could do that.
IMDb.
Yeah, and we could do that on Dorking Out, and it would be super fun. But we want to talk about why Jack Nicholson's a creep. So we're going to start with his relationship with women. So he is a notorious playboy. Was. he is said to have slept with over 2,000 women, but who's counting, right? Back in the day, he really did establish this reputation as like such a ladies' man. He had like a trailer on the set, one for sex and one for drugs. Like
one for napping,
one for napping,
one to take a shit after lunch.
You know, he has a long list of women that he's been, you know, Michelle Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas, Joni Mitchell, former Bond girl Jill St. John, Laura Flynn Boyle. She was way younger than him. Kate Moss, also way younger than him, I think. An actress, Paz de la Huerta. I think she was in Boardwalk Empire.
Yep.
Right.
Not Broad City.
Yeah. He's been married one time to an actress he co-starred in The Terror in 1963. They separated after 4 years. He cheated on her a lot. They were divorced. Yeah, separated after 4 years, divorced 2 years after that, and they had one daughter named Jennifer. He had an on-set affair with actress Susan Anspaugh while filming 5 Easy Pieces. Mm-hmm. This was in 1969. When she got pregnant, he denied the baby was his. She actually married actor Mark Goddard, who everyone probably knows from Lost in Space. And she was pregnant when he married her, and he like adopted the baby.
That's sweet.
And,
he's a good guy, Mark Goddard, I mean.
Yeah. And the boy, his name is Caleb. So Jack would never acknowledge that Caleb was his son, at least not publicly, but he did pay for Caleb to go to college. And then Susan would ask him, like, you should acknowledge that you're his father. And Jack would say, I didn't have a father and I'm a superstar. That's what I'm like. And she's like, yeah, she was like, she said it's unkind is what she would say to him. She never asked him for anything until 1988. Hollywood stopped calling her because Hollywood is horrible to actresses that dare to age. How dare you? How dare you age? And she asked Jack for a loan for $500,000. And he took the deed to her 4-bedroom Santa Monica home as collateral. Now, she claims that Jack promised if she couldn't repay right away, like she wasn't going to lose her home. Okay. So 6 years later, Jack Nicholson is profiled in Vanity Fair. And he says he has one son. And he mentions his son Raymond, which at the time was with Rebecca Broussard, I think is how you pronounce her name. Yeah. And then Susan wrote a letter to the editor and said, our son Caleb is Jack's older son and second oldest child. And then within like a month, Jack Nicholson's took her house. Like,
oh, that's petty.
She received a letter that said, you need to pay the loan. There was interest on the loan, and or you're going to lose your house. And so Caleb actually called his father and Jack Nicholson, and Jack told him that this was a personal matter between him and his mother, that he never liked her.
Oh, man.
And he said, and I'm not the one going around writing letters to the editor of Vanity Fair. So he was like clearly pissed.
Yeah.
That like she outed him. So instead of paying him back, she filed for bankruptcy, and then she sued him for $1 million, which brought all kinds of media attention, which he fucking hated.
Right.
Because it just brought more attention to the fact that that Caleb is his son. Eventually it was settled out of court, and she actually did get to keep her house.
Wow.
But he still does not acknowledge publicly that he is the father of him.
Yeah,
that's Caleb.
That's petty. It's also ego tripping. He's
exactly.
He's one of those stars that really controlled their image. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you're going to see a pattern here. So I'm trying to go chronologically, but it jumps around a little bit. So he was with Angelica Houston for a long time. Mm-hmm. They met in 1973 at Jack's birthday party. And apparently they like fell in love like instantly. Like they like danced the night away, hooked up that night. And the following year he's filming Chinatown. she moves in with him, but he was just incapable of keeping it in his pants, and that he would like barely hide his affairs. In the interviews, he would say like Angelica was the love of his life. And he would say that they were able to stay together because of her quote unquote flexibility, which is his way of saying she lets me cheat.
Yeah, I never know what goes on between people, but yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
They can have an arrangement.
And she wrote her own biography, and she talks about this stuff as well. They didn't have like an open relationship at all. I think it was more of a don't rub it in my face kind of thing. You know, she does tell a story about how one time they were walking down like a street in France, and he literally ditched her in the middle of the street to hop on a bike with a random woman. Like he just fucking rode off.
Wow.
I'm like, what an asshole.
Wow.
They were very off and on. At one point they broke up, and then he got into a relationship with a model named Winnie Hallman. And they had a baby named Honey in 1981. And he also didn't acknowledge her for years.
Is that a recent
For years.
one that she's been talking to the... Is that a recent one? She's been just talking to the press. She lives in New York.
It's a different one.
Oh, okay.
It's a different one.
Wow, really?
There's more. There's more.
But wait,
Yes.
there's more.
But wait, there's more. He has kids everywhere, everybody. Allegedly. No. And then after a couple of years, he breaks up with Winnie Holloman. He gets back together with Angelica, and he repeatedly cheated on her. They were off and on. They did that for 17 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
They never got married. She said it wasn't that she didn't want to marry him. She did. She did want to get married. She did want to have a family with him. And apparently they tried for years to get pregnant. Probably couldn't because he was out getting everyone else pregnant, but whatever. But he never asked her to marry him. He would ask his manager or his lawyer to do it for him.
What, the proposal?
To like propose marriage to her. Yes. Like they would go to her and say like, you guys should get married. You could save money on taxes. So romantic.
Wow.
She declined. So what a creep.
Well, she was John Huston's daughter. She's pretty tough.
Yeah. Yeah, she is pretty tough. So in 1989, Jack told Angelica Houston again that he's having a baby with another woman. And that's Rebecca, who I mentioned earlier. And in her autobiography, which is called Watch Me, Angelica Houston said, after hoping for almost 2 decades to marry and start a family with this man, I learned he would instead be having a child with a younger woman.
Wow, that is painful. That is mean.
She lost her shit, by the way. She like fully like tried to beat the shit out of him. Which,
yeah.
Like, I know, look, I don't condone physical violence. I'm just saying I might look the other way.
But she didn't do it.
But she didn't do it. He admitted in interviews, like, this is the toughest period of my life. And I was like, fuck off.
Right.
Like, you can't keep it in your pants. So Jack and Rebecca had 2 children together. They were together from 1989 to 94.
Okay.
And then they broke up. Do you know why they broke up?
Because he had another baby with somebody else?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I guessed it.
You guessed it. He did the same thing to her, everybody. He cheated on her with this woman named Jeannie Gorin. She was working as a waitress. She had a daughter named Tessa. Jack does not acknowledge that he is the father.
They live in New York, right?
Yes.
Oh God.
And she's the one who's talking to the Post and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's talking. And I think she talks to the other kids, by the way. They probably have a fucking support group.
I would. They have a text chain going. Did you hear from today? Nope. Did you? Nope.
Nope. They have a text chain called You Don't Know Jack. So there's all of that. I do want to mention the Roman Polanski thing here for real quick.
We have to.
We did a whole episode on Roman Polanski. You should go back and listen to it. but Jack Nicholson was involved, so I want to mention it. And here's how he was involved. So this is like March 77. Roman Polanski is doing a photo shoot at Jack Nicholson's home. Jack Nicholson is not there, with a 13-year-old girl. Angelica Houston was there apparently at some point,
She
and
walked
she
in.
she was like, that's suspicious, but didn't do anything about it because
LA in
She didn't know.
77. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He claimed he was going to take pictures of this girl for French Vogue. He gave her champagne, he gave her a quaalude, and he raped her repeatedly and then drove her home. When he was being charged with the crime, he split the country. So he has not served any jail time. And a lot of celebrities still support Roman Polanski. Nicholson is one of them. So there's that. New topic.
Yes, please.
Yes. Let's talk about Jack Nicholson's nasty temper.
Ooh. He has mean Irish guy in him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
And
1994,
I'm saying this as an Irish girl who gets very cranky sometimes.
in 1994, Jack Nicholson felt like a man cut him off in traffic. So Jack Nicholson jumped out of his car at a red light, accused this man of cutting him off, and then grabbed a golf club from the trunk of his car and
Sorry.
bashed in the guy's roof and his windshield.
Please tell me this man sued the shit out of him.
Yes, he did. Jack Nicholson was charged with assault and vandalism. The charges were dropped, but the guy did get $500,000.
He could have gotten more.
He totally could have gotten
Yeah.
more. This was super famous because this event was super famous, but it wasn't. I'm thinking of a different event that we're going to get to in a second. I'm sure a lot of people know this, but maybe you don't. I don't know. Jack Nicholson is a huge fan of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, that's
Do
a
you know
thing he's
this?
known for. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Courtside.
Yes, he
Yeah.
sits courtside. For 25 years, he had courtside tickets to the Lakers. He sits there. He's got his sunglasses on. By the way, go watch old Academy Awards. Jack's always sitting in the front.
That's his thing.
Yeah,
It's
sitting
very
in the
rock and
front.
roll.
Yeah, very rock and roll, sitting right in front,
Mhm.
sunglasses on. He's super. I'm going to use the word flirty because I don't think it's I don't think anyone's offended by it. It's more flirty. He did it to Nicole Kidman or Michelle Pfeiffer. He did it to Jennifer Lawrence, where he's just hey, and they're they wag their fingers at him no. But he's definitely got dirty old man vibe
Yeah. And that's his generation, too.
for sure.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the Lakers now. He just wants to show it to the Laker girls. Do you remember that in Bowfinger? Did you ever see that
I've never
movie?
seen Bowfinger.
Oh my God, we need to do an episode on Bowfinger.
Okay, definitely.
Okay, because Eddie Murphy plays a character who is obsessed with the Laker girls in particular, and his whole thing is he likes to flash the Laker girls. And he's like, I just want to show it to the Laker girls. It's just so gross. Anyway, Jack Nicholson is kind of known for losing his shit at games because the dude can't control his temper. So on multiple occasions, he's argued with players. He's a fucking owner or something. He's the coach. He'll fight with players. He's gotten to arguments with officials.
He's such fucking Karen at the Lakers game.
Yeah, yes. He's literally walked onto the court and yelled at referees and yells at them I pay a lot of money for this seat. You can't tell me to sit down.
Yeah, they can.
They can.
Yeah, sit your ass down. Yeah.
Yeah. He actually almost got kicked out of a game this was May 2003 because he was yelling at the ref during a game. Coincidentally, this was the same time that he had made a movie called Anger Management. So part of me is is this a promotional stunt? Because it seems like a really shitty promotional stunt. But there you go. This one's a little bit more fucked up. So in 96, this is the story that I was wait, what? And then I put Jack Nicholson on the list. So Jack Nicholson, 96, picks up 2 sex workers and he takes them back to his home.
Okay.
He offers them $1,000 each. I'm like, seems low, but okay. $1,000 each to wear little black dresses and fuck him, basically. And it's
Okay.
like, all right,
Everyone's got their thing.
sounds fine. But after sex, he got quote unquote loud and abusive, commenting that he would never pay for sex, that he could get anyone he wanted to have sex with. And then he grabbed one of the women by her hair. He hit her head on the floor. He threw her out of his house. In exchange for her silence, he gave her $32,000. But it turned out her injuries were way worse.
Of course they were, because she hit her head on the floor.
Yes. She had damage to her brainstem.
Aw.
She occasionally loses vision. She suffers from chronic pain. And her bills amounted to more than $60,000. And she filed a lawsuit to get more money for her medical bills. And it was thrown out of court.
That's some bullshit.
It is some bullshit. He also apparently at some point has been accused of hitting another woman, and he actually ruptured her silicone breast implant.
Damn.
And that must be serious
That
fucking
is some
punch.
Yeah.
And she had to go to the hospital, and I could not find like if she sued him or not. This could be another one of those. He offered her money for silence.
It's going to be some hush money. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you know, because he's been such a womanizer, because he does have this history of like abusive behavior towards women, he leads a pretty lonely life now. Like, you know, he gave an interview in like 2015 and he said like, I'm single and lonely and likely to die alone. Is like what he said. He said that his reputation is, and he referred to himself as this Jack the Jumper. It's like, I've never heard that.
Whoa.
But that's what he referred to himself as. He said that women don't trust him anymore. And he's like, I would love one last romance, but you know,
okay. But treat people
I'm
better.
like,
You get what you put out. I mean, give me a
Yes,
fucking break.
exactly.
I'm sorry. No, that's self-pity shit at some point. No,
Yes.
no. You know better.
Exactly. You treated people horribly. And now here he is at the end of his life. And he's like, I did it all wrong.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. I'm like, also, he has a lot of children that he should probably acknowledge exist. And he could have probably more love in his life if he would do those things. I don't know if he's maybe too proud to do those things now.
Right.
Maybe he will do those things now. Like we were talking about, you know, recently a picture came out where he actually, you know, came out of the house for like the first time in a really long time. I'm like, maybe he's taking some baby steps into the real world. You know, there is some talk that he has dementia of some form, you know, that he's suffering from memory loss. And that's very sad. And he hasn't made a movie since a romantic comedy called How Do You Know? I think it's with Owen Wilson and Reese Witherspoon, and I heard it's not very good, so I haven't seen it. Before that, he really hadn't been seen since October 2021 when he went to a Lakers game with one of the sons he does acknowledge exists, Ray, which is one of his children from Rebecca. So that's our creep, Jack Nicholson.
Good job, Sonia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some demons in him. Like
Exactly.
look, you can watch The Shining and see.
Yes.
Like, there's some there.
Yeah, he's an old timey like womanizing creep. He clearly has a fucked up temper. I had never heard the story about the 2 sex workers and him like assaulting her to that point. That was new to me, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding?"
And you know, it happens much more often. They're just the ones we know about.
Exactly.
Because women don't, just in general, women don't report those things because they're just going to get blamed for it.
Correct.
From what I understand, and I forget where I read this, but his whole big pickup line, if you were famous as he was, he probably wouldn't go for it. But he just found you attractive and you had a couple of nice conversations. He'd just call you up and go, "Yo, Sonia, when's it going to happen?"
He did that to Gina Davis.
Right, exactly. And it's like
Gina. So I read a story. I didn't put it in here because it's
in Gina's
you know,
book. which
it's
is
in
great.
Gina's book. She said that. So Dustin Hoffman gave her some advice that said when male actors in Hollywood hit on you and you're like, I'm not interested, you tell them, like, I'm afraid that we might work together someday and I don't want to ruin the sexual chemistry between us. Therefore, I'm not going to hook up with you. And Jack Nicholson like met her and was like, hey, when is it going to happen? And she used the line. And he's like, that's a good line. Who told you that?
No, thank you, Mr. Cokey Dick. I think I'm.
Yeah, no, thank you, Cokey McCoke Dick.
Jesus. Well, good job, Sonia. I forgot to mention, is this our 10th episode?
It is. This is the end of season 19.
We're going to have a season 20. I think we're going to take next week off. We're going to replace. We'll figure out something to replay for y'all. Let us know if you have a request, if there's an episode you want to see.
You want Errol Flynn again?
I think we've done Errol Flynn like 3 times.
It's such a good one.
But it's such a fun one. I know. All right. Do you want to hear about a Jersey boy who's not a creep?
Yes, please.
We've already talked about Springsteen. We've already talked about John Bon Jovi. I mean, I looked at lots of great people come from New Jersey, by the way.
Of course they do.
I spent my last 2 years in high school in Ridgewood, New Jersey. Do you know who Nathan Lane is?
Never heard of him.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I know who he is. I love Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane's the fucking best. We just did an episode on Book versus Movie of The Birdcage.
He's so fucking funny in that movie. He's so good.
That was his big opening picture. But he was born Joseph Lane, February 3rd, 1956 in Jersey City, New Jersey. He started acting at a young age. He gets on Broadway. He knew he was gay pretty much forever. But he didn't come out to his mother until he was 21. Mm-hmm. And this was in late 70s, early 80s. And at the time, just the world used to be really different. And some people want to put it back to that way with the way things are in the news right now. But he was in the closet. And he worked in Broadway. He did a ton of television. But he was building up his career. And then he gets on The Birdcage. Mm-hmm. And then everywhere he goes, he's playing a gay man. And Robin Williams is playing a gay man. And even Oprah Winfrey's like, so what's going on? And eventually he just had to say, look, I'm 40 years old. I've never been married and I've never been associated with anybody. You do the math. You fucking figure it out. But then eventually he was able to say, yep, I'm gay, quite along the lines of, Ellen DeGeneres.
Yes.
And he's living with his husband. He has a very good life, but I just kind of want to talk about, some of his biggest productions. A funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, The Producers, which I've seen on Broadway with him and Matthew Broderick, which was...
Oh my God. He must have been so funny.
So fucking funny. So amazing. He's had, okay, here we go. 2 Obies, 6 Outer Critics Awards. He's won 6 Drama Desk Awards. He's won an award for Outstanding Achievement in Musical Theater. He has 2 Golden Globe nominations. He's won the Laurence Olivier Award, the Gene O'Neill Monte Cristo Award.
Oh my gosh.
He's been nominated for Academy Awards. He also is someone who's very philanthropic, and especially everything, of course, with the LGBTQ community. Broadway Cares. He's super into that. He's a great spokesperson for people. One of the reasons he came out publicly, and it's really, you have to think about it, so tragic, but a lot of people did, was in 1999. I didn't realize, I forgot, but that was the year Matthew Shepard was killed.
Oh my gosh. That's
and so there's a lot of people that started coming out about then. And he just basically, he wanted to serve as an example of like, so what if you're gay? Be who you are. You could be happy. You could do what you want with your life. You'll have friends. You'll have people accept you. And believe it or not, like 25 years ago, that was a big deal for somebody to say that. And so he works with Broadway Cares, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. the Trevor Project Hero Award, the Matthew Shepard Foundation Making a Difference Award. He's just won tons and tons of awards, and he's been nominated for everything. You've seen him in The Birdcage, obviously, but Modern Family, The Good Wife, George and Martha, Mad About You. He was in The Lion King. He was doing work forever.
I loved The Lion King, and it played at my movie theater for over a year. It was like on video, and it was still playing in the theater. He was so funny in The Lion King.
He's just witty and smart and kind, and just a good example of a good person from New Jersey. So that's our Not Creep this week. Nathan Lane.
Good job. That's a great one. He's also in Only Murders in the Building.
Right.
And
I can't list all those credits.
He's so good in that too. Like, he's just one of those people that he's always good. He can do everything.
So, and if you like the sound of our voices, talk about people who could do everything. Me and you, Sonia.
We can do it all.
We co-host a show called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. And what are we going to be dorking out about next?
We're going to talk about Beethoven.
Dun, 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 dun.
Not that Beethoven. We're going to talk about the one with the big dog in it.
I think it's on Paramount Plus, or did I see it on HBO Max? It's like, what are the other? I think Paramount, actually. I watched the other night. I can't wait to talk about it with you. I loved this movie when it came out, unabashedly. It's 30 years, by the way.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen it, but I'm going to be watching it tonight with my son, and I am very curious.
It's got Charles Grodin, Bonnie Hunt.
I love all those people.
Right.
And I love dogs.
Who doesn't love dogs, and who doesn't love a Saint Bernard? I'm sorry. You are made of
They're
coal.
the cutest.
Oh, they're so loving. And it shows up as a puppy at first. It's so freaking cute.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're
looking forward to this.
Absolutely. So please follow us on all the social media things. If you have suggestions for creeps and also non-creeps, we talk about history, pop culture, all kinds of creeps out there. We love it when you use the Annie Potts gift. We got one from Ghostbusters. Our email, once again, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. We've actually taken suggestions from y'all, and like within a few weeks on the episode. So we really do count on you for that. Please leave stars wherever you get your podcast. That would be amazing. We totally appreciate it. And Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok. Where can people find you, Margot?
You can find me at Brooklyn Margot. That's for Twitter. On Instagram, I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick, and my site is brooklynfitchick.com, and I am on the TikTok at Margot Donahue. All right, everyone. In the meantime, next week's going to be repeat, and then the week after that, the 20th season.
20!
That's going to be our 200th episode or something like that.
We should what?
It's going to be our 200th episode, right? If it's 10 times 20?
That's about,
If I know math. Yeah, right?
I don't know. Math is hard, but damn.
My little girly brain can't figure it out.
Math is hard.
All right, y'all. Stay safe. Be kind. Don't be a creep.
Don't be a creep. Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.